Hey y'all, this is your inspirational nurse, and I want to say pre-happy Merry Christmas, pre-happy Kwanzaa, pre-happy everything. Whether you don't celebrate Christmas or not, I just want to say happy holidays. And for those who do, Merry Christmas. And guys, I hope your holidays are blessed. For those who have to work, I really thank you for all your hard work and dedication to healthcare, period. A field that almost don't like you or you feel like don't love you all the time, but you still so dedicated. So I want to take this time to say thank you, happy holidays. And for all my new family members on this channel, I want to say thank you. Now this video is going to be super different, y'all. It's going to be how to fight back your nurse bullies the professional way. Because let me tell y'all, I've definitely been through so much. So guys, if you are the type of healthcare worker that has been going through so much of bullying and people are picking on your skills and people are making you feel like you're diminished and you are nothing, or maybe you're in a situation you're not quite sure if that's bullying or not, but you know you definitely being mistreated, this video is for you. I definitely learned over the years how to professionally get back my bully or deal with crisis situations like that. I definitely seen bullying tear down friendships, relationships, great coworker, friendship-ish, whatever's happening behind the scenes. Bullying and that negativity definitely just sometimes take the passion out of people. The thing that you love, you start to hate. The job that you used to love doing, right? You used to feel fulfilled. And now someone, maybe a group of individuals or an individual is attacking you, right? You feel attacked. You feel unheard. You feel like, why is this happening to me when I'm such an awesome nurse? And part of that could be a spiritual thing too. Maybe there's a greater purpose in you and you just don't know it. You didn't tap into that yet. But God knows that you are who you're going to be in the future. And that's why sometimes things are going on and you're not quite sure why. I definitely know for me, guys, just talking about me personally, it was a spiritual thing that God had a super huge thing for me in my future as a nurse. And it was hard for me to see myself in this field as a professional coming from my walk of life, y'all. This grand life did not exist. Okay, I was talking to people that maybe saw a different life than me and wanted me to be back home in my hometown. And for those who do not know, I am from Brooklyn, New York. And a lot of people wanted me to stay home and just like be normal like everybody else. And I was definitely breaking generational curses without knowing I was. And so I was a threat. And so let me tell you guys how to professionally handle your bullies, guys. Now, number one, y'all, it's usually something, bullying usually starts, and it's usually never just one person. People always tend to need more energy and when they're trying to create this negativity thing against you, right? They always feel like they need to involve like everybody on the unit. Maybe right all of a sudden you come on to shift, y'all, and y'all notice a shift in energy because sometimes you don't know that you're in a bullying situation, y'all. When I was a new grad, I had specifically went to an oncology unit, y'all, and on this unit these nurse attitudes suck. When I tell you they suck, it suck. It's like when I came in strong following the hospital protocols and policies, doing bedside reports. I mean, it was rubbing these nurses all the wrong way. Now, sometimes because you're so into your patient care, you do not see what is going on behind your back. And so your job, really, your managers and your admin team should be really watching and, keep an eye out for you, especially when you're new and you're so much in your head that it's almost like blinders, not seeing what's really going on behind the scenes when it comes to you personally being attacked. And y'all, I remember my manager talking to me about this privately, like saying like, yo, T, if this was any other nurse, they would not have made it like this far in this type of campus because this was like the ghetto hospital, right? Right. So they like, no one would have made it as far as you. Like you literally just cool with it. You like not even like you know how to just deal with people and bullying people, bullying behavior, right? You just keep it moving. You still working. Like some people would have quit. Like this would have destroyed them. And so for me, guys, literally, I think part of defeating the bully, I'm gonna give you the first answer to it is how to beat them is first by staying focused. A bully does not like somebody that they're bullying to be so focused and to excel. Their expectations for you to fail. They don't want to see you win. A lot of times it's people that you used to chill with on the unit or you told something personally to that you're working on. And what they're doing is they're gathering people to start to hate you. I remember coming on to shift and like the second or third week, it was like a shift in energy. Like everybody was chilling over there. I'm sitting over here by myself. I'm charting. I'm not worried about them, period. But I'm charting by myself. I'm chilling, and they started like planning stuff for the unit without telling me, or they planning stuff to hang out after work, which I wasn't chilling with none of them anyway. But it was just like a shift in energy. One minute they was for you, third week they was against you. And all because, guys, let me tell you, I did not know how much skills, how much people were watching me in this facility, right? I was going from floor to floor, didn't have a home unit, right? Loving on the team, like say, hey, I'm here. If y'all need anything, let me know. If you don't know how to do so, I'm willing to show you. Because literally, I felt like even though I'm the first nurse in my family, I had so much to prove that I felt like God put me through nursing school multiple times. Y'all, when I was an LPN, I went back, got my RN, then I went back, got my bachelor's, and I excelled. All my stuff was accelerating, y'all. And let me tell you, by the time I came out of nursing school, my hands was ready. Like my skills was on point, Bob. And I still took my training serious. I always feel like a need to like always perfect my skills. I'm a type A, y'all. Don't play with my skills. I take it very, very serious. And I remember this unit, y'all, they was dead hating. I was asking for best shots report. They like, for what? Make it quick. What are you talking about? We don't really do that here. So part of the bullying is sometimes you have to make a decision whether you're going to conform to what's happening on the unit, or guys, are you going to continue to do exactly what you was trained to do? So I definitely continue exactly how I was trained to do, and definitely follow chain of command when they wasn't following through. And so it brought a lot of attention to the unit that unit wasn't following through. It was a bunch of nurses with attitudes going through and everything like that. And I found out one of the nurses was going through a divorce, which that whatever you're going through personally should not affect your job. That's why I said, if you are noticing that you're not 100% there, like mentally, to do this job as a nurse, to save a life, to work with a team and all this stuff, then maybe you need to take a break or find somewhere else that this works for you. Because sometimes it does affect your work, your relationship with other coworkers, right? Or sometimes, guys, different floors, they will like gain up against other units, right? They gain up other units. They don't want certain CNAs or sharing their CNAs with other units, right? It gets like out of hand, y'all. Where patients are getting put at risk, where new grads are feeling isolated, right? They're feeling cornered, they feeling attacked, right? But it's up to you how professionally to handle that attack, guys. And I remember my manager's like, oh, so they trying to bully you? What? And she's been there for years. And guys, I know whatever she was doing behind the scenes to protect me, I know at the time, I was like, I don't know what she's going to do, but I don't care. It really didn't matter to me, y'all. It was just something about me. I felt like the patients just needed me. And so I was giving my all to my patient encounters. Like every patient encounter, I was giving them my all. Like I felt like that was my mission at the time. Like I had no time for the extraness, right? And it was just so toxic. And yes, I met some amazing nurses that were so frustrated with this hospital system, right? The older nurses eating the younger nurses. Like it was just bad, right? So that's one way how you can defeat these people, right? Is by staying focused, right? Staying focused on whatever God told you you're supposed to be working on. You keep the standard. That's number 2. Nurses like this want you not to keep the standard. They want you to be like, we don't do best social support. Okay, cool. I'm not going to do it then. That's what they want. They want to bring people into that negativity. They want to bring people into, now you're starting to have bad habits as a nurse, okay? Now you start to have bad habits as a nurse. You do not want that because, guys, one thing I'm going to tell you as a nurse, guys, y'all already know, healthcare workers, y'all already know your reputation is everything out there, y'all. People can actually blackmail you from being hired. Like nurses trying to get out of their units, not being able to be locked in. I've seen managers hold applications in the system. You applying to a system job. You know how they tell you once you hire, you get to go after internal employee, you can go after those jobs, and they be holding the jobs, y'all, literally holding these applications in the system, trying to influence you. So now y'all got these senior nurses trying to come at your job, right? Your dream job and everything like that. I remember my manager like, oh, we just talked about it. We thought that you would just be a better fit with this department. You're so good. Like I said, I'm going to the ICU. I remember telling them that because if they looked at my portfolio, they noticed that every time there was a critical matter that happened, there was time where a patient went unresponsive. And it wasn't my patient. I just happened to be in a hallway, and the CNA recognized me and was like, Tierra, please come help me with this patient, blah, blah, blah. He just passed out on the toilet. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's just a new AFib. And did you know them doctors looked at me and their jaws dropped like this? how did she, I heard them talking about me behind my back. How did she know all of this? I had another patient in the same hospital system, y'all, that when she asked me to get her up, she had COVID and she was 8 months pregnant. When she asked me to take her to the bathroom, it was just something about her going to the bathroom. The way her gait was it just threw me off. I was just like, you getting back in the bed, you're not getting up. And she kept saying, what you think it is? I suspected she had a huge blood clot in that leg. By the time I ran to go get the doctor for that room, y'all, because I was taking care of pregnant patients during COVID in my regular med surg units, because you know how the hospital was not set up like a regular hospital. We was running totally different. And so it opened up me being able to take care of like pregnant women, all types of different types of patients, guys. And this woman, the doctor looked at me and said, oh my God, I was just about to order her to get, see if she has a blood clot. I said, I think she has it in her leg. Her mouth just like, and I said, don't order that medicine because it's going to, I remember there was a medication we was using during COVID. And I said, don't order that. It's going to cross the placenta. So let me tell you what God does. When you are home and you're working your hardest to get into nursing, and you're going through all the schooling, and you're going through everything, your life becomes nursing. Because I remember one friend not liking the fact that everything came out of my mouth was nursing for months. I could not help it because I was eating, drinking, swallowing, nursing. Everything was nursing. My whole life was changing. And guys, y'all, God will equip you to be this awesome healthcare worker. If you are meant to do this, he is going to equip you. Don't matter if you never had a background and nobody in your family that has been doing this. You are the first. Okay? He's going to allow you to put your paw prints in that snow and make a mark for the future. Now, future generation nurses can follow you, right? It's so extreme how God does things. But y'all, definitely, I have been through so much. So that provider looked at me. I never forget, it was a woman provider. She looked at me and said, how did you know it's going to cross the placenta? Like, I was just like, God just told me it was. So just don't order that one, right? So, because during COVID, y'all, we was using medications that wasn't FDA approved. And I remember getting a little uncomfortable with this because a lot of providers like, yo, T, just give this to the guy in 12. And I'm like, I'm not giving no medicine without looking it up. And I would look it up. I would look up them. And I didn't have time to look up this one with this pregnant lady, but when we were taking care of the regular COVID people, I was definitely like trying to make sure I do my due diligence and we're not killing the patient, right? But like I said, y'all, part of this is the number one way to continue to beat this bullying thing and be a thug, a nurse thug, is by staying focused. When you stay focused and you develop, when I tell you you're going to be something else, the enemy is already threatened by you in your current state of where you are now in your career. Can you imagine 10 years from now? Can you imagine? Because sometimes I feel like they already know where you're going. The enemy knows and God knows where you're going. So sometimes there's plans that just get behind the scenes and it causes you to feel defeated. But one thing I'm not going to tell you is don't feel defeated because God is protecting you. So keep shining your light in dark places, because a lot of times you shining your light, your nightingale light, and that little lamp, and the demons don't like that light. They don't like that bright light. When you come into that room, they don't like it. And sometimes you attract every type of spirit, right? So you have to be wise about who you let in your circle, who you dealing with, who you talking to, who you sharing your personal things with, co-worker wise. You have to be wise about this, y'all. Because I feel like bullies love a crowd. They love to draw attention to themselves. They love to draw, all types of people to come up against you without them even getting to know you. I had people that came to me years later like, oh my God, you're such an amazing person. If I just would have got to know you, I would have known that you was just amazing. But people do not get to know you. They judge you. They judge you, or they start to compete with you. And you don't even know you were in competition. I remember going to school and it was just so much. It was just like always something, right? And all I'm trying to do is just make it right? I'm just trying to make it like everybody else. We're all in this together. We all have we still have the same goals, same motivation, the same things. We all trying to make it, trying to feed our families. We're trying to master these skills. And it's just like so much room to grow, but you get so much hate behind it. But y'all, another situation was I was traveling, y'all. For a week, I was doing a 48-hour contract, which I would never do again. But I did a 48-hour contract, which means I worked 4 to 5 shifts a week sometimes, y'all. And y'all, this it was like a bunch of Philippine nurses. Now, I have nothing against them. But let me tell you, first of all, they started with they'll have meals in a room together, they like to eat together and make rice, and they were cooking all up in there. And I'm trying to find somewhere to eat, right? And then they were just basically it was just them. They just wanted them in the room. So they started to take over the room where you sit down and have your meals and you put your stuff in there. And it was just two. I noticed that the one that was in charge of everything, so she was the coordinator on the unit, she was acting funny. So we had a patient, I could tell like she didn't like me or something about me because I was just like a very like, this is who I am. This is what I'm about to do on your unit. Your manager invited me here, personally called my phone and needed help. So I'm here, you know. And this nurse, y'all, we had a older lady that was coming from the ER. Now we was told that this lady was acting strange. She was trying to leave. So y'all, so she was acting real strange, y'all. She was like, they said that she was trying to leave the ER. She kept saying something about her husband, and she did not. It was like hard to sit her down in the room to even do any type of assessment. Like she was just like so adamant, leaving the room, trying to leave the hospital. So now I'm supposed to get this admission, y'all. So what I noticed with the team, y'all, because I was just to myself, I was getting stuff done, and they was like, ugh, I wasn't part of their social group, or there was always like a travel nurse. Like one girl told me, y'all, now I have to drive a distance to get to this hospital, right? So by the time I get to this hospital in the morning, y'all, I would stop. This is the first time I stopped and got myself something to eat. I said, I gotta get something to eat because this 5 to 6 shift, 12-hour shifts is a lot. And I was so, be hungry in the morning. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go get me some McDonald's. So y'all, let me tell y'all, before I finish with the other story, one of the co-workers that actually work on the unit, one of the CNAs was like, well, when you buy McDonald's, you got to buy the whole team McDonald's or something like that. And then the other travel nurse that they were following behind, that was kind of controlling the unit, she was like, yeah, you got to buy everybody. I looked at her, I said, unless y'all put money in my bank account, I'm not got to buy you got the goddamn thing. Now get up my goddamn face. Excuse my language. But one thing about me, y'all, I love my food, and you're not going to come against me and my food, especially when I know I got to work another 12 hours. You better get out my face. It's like I'm a hungry nurse. When I'm hungry, don't matter. It's just like it just don't go well with me. So I remember looking at them like, and I just dismissed them in that manner, like, get out my face. And they were just like, oh. So ever since then, y'all, back to the old lady. So the old lady coming up. So now I'm realizing with my assignments, I had patients on either side. So there was 2 hallways. So you either got patients down this way or patients down the opposite way. So I had a patient that was bleeding out. I had a fresh surgical patient, like going into surgery, fresh, had several drips, several things running in the room. I had another patient back the other way. And then this lady, I was getting admission still. And on top of my patient bleeding out in one of the rooms because the CNA came and grabbed me, was like, well, Miss Fleming, the lady bleeding out in the room. So I'm running back the other way, running back. Anyway, and I had a IVIG. So I had an oncology patient and on IVIG that y'all know takes maintenance when you're given this drip. So I had this heavy assignment, y'all. And so let me tell y'all, number 2, this is another way how you defeat and you fight back. I literally, guys, knew what they was doing. And honey, let me tell you. So with the older lady, I remember the coordinator came out, which is the big head one. I always called it the big head one. She comes out and she's like, oh, you got to admit this lady. And they said she's acting weird and her behavior's off and she's been trying to leave and blah, 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 blah. So I look at this lady. So this old lady come up to the floor and I'm like, for some reason, I look at her and I'm like, let me go get this glucose machine because I got a feeling. And she literally, so y'all, she looked at me and was like, the big head one was like, first of all, we don't do that. That's not our standard. We don't check blood sugars. We don't check blood sugars. And, of course, because I'm not on there, I'm not part of their, I know this by now, I know the policies and the standards. Either way, if your patient is having an acute change, y'all, you think I'm going to sit here and listen to somebody tell me not to do something when I know it's my patient having an acute change? That is an acute change. She's all of a sudden not acting weird and doing all these things. Who's checking her? No one did an assessment or nothing, right? So I remember getting it anyway, y'all, and checking her blood sugar anyway, beyond big head. And y'all, the freaking blood sugar was so low that, y'all, let me tell y'all what I did. Yes, I did, and I repented later. I took the machine and threw it on the girl, threw it on the big head's desk and said, this is why we check, and walked away, period. So let me tell y'all, so because that started to happen, so retaliation is coming because it happens in nursing. So I'm taking care of this heavy assignment. I'm noticing that they're not using, like, when Epic, we have Epic, you can pull the acuity from Epic charting to feel like to see what is appropriate for each nurse. They wasn't even doing that. So, okay. So they didn't know that I was called personally in by their manager, right, to be on this unit. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I got it. So they thinking they're retaliating. So I had the IVIG patient. I remember she's like, Miss Fleming, I'm really uncomfortable with this drug. I explained everything to her. She's like, I know you started it, but I'm having a feeling about this. I'd rather see my oncologist and see what else we could do. And I said, you have absolutely patient right to not get your IVIG. And so I did my due diligence as far as my charting. I stopped it in real time because, like I tell y'all as travel nurses, when anytime you start, slow down. Let's say stop, pause, or begin something. You want to put it in epic as you doing whatever to that drug, especially if it's a drip. So I remember calling the provider, talking to her in the room, reassuring her that, hey, I'm still going to assess you for any adverse effects of this drug. I'm going to let your provider know that you need to see him like urgently, like before you discharge, because she was supposed to discharge once she received it. So I remember doing on my part like that, and I took care of my bleeding patient. I took care of my fresh surgical patient, y'all. Hot mess assignment, y'all. And honey, this is how you defeat the bullies. You slay your assignment, baby. I still slayed my assignment. So now these people went behind me, y'all, and lied on me, saying like, "Oh, she didn't do her IVIG. I saw her hanging in the room." Instead of asking me why is it not running, they went and called HR. Y'all, when I tell you, I told that manager, we talked. They didn't even know. The manager called me at my crib, like, see what happened. I told her, I said, your team is blah, 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 blah. And HR called me and specifically said to me, like, yo, we watched your work. We investigated, and Miss Fleming, your work is immaculate. Y'all, they were like, the HR lady was like, your documentation, Miss Fleming, was immaculate. So, y'all, next day, y'all, I come into work, right? I come into work. I notice everybody's at the nursing station, and I hear somebody's voice on the machine, like on the phone, and it's like on a speaker, and she's yelling at the team, like, y'all, they treat her like that. And it's the manager. Ooh, about time I left that assignment, y'all. They had to change how they did their assignments. They had to change it. I had even had a dying patient amongst that, right? A patient passing that was on a pain pump, that the daughter wanted the mom on the pain pump. She wanted her to die fast. I will never forget that daughter. I had the worst Halloween assignment and still left and on time and still slayed my assignment. So when I tell you the best way to get them back is to still stay consistent, still stay strong, work on your skills. When people think they're harming you, they're sharpening your knife. Because I definitely knew I can handle any acute changes, critical changes, anything. I can run any drips. I can work with any type of patient population and getting paid 3 times, 4 times to do that job. Why? Because I deserve to. Okay, because let me tell you, what I go through, y'all, a lot of people don't understand what travel nurses go through. It's a lot. It's a lot. You got to be able to handle that, honey. And I think I handled it with grace, because I could have went back to my old ways, y'all, and it wouldn't have been nice. But guys, because I knew like the manager was like really needing me there. And let me tell y'all how proud I was, y'all. I literally changed things not only for myself but for travel nurses behind me. I reported everything. And when I tell you they had to do a sit down between me and the big head one, and I looked at her and I told her, I said, you are a bully, and I don't like it. And you would not be talking to me any kind of way, because I earned my way here, period. Just because y'all don't know what y'all doing up in here. And see, travel nurses got to come in here and slay your assignment that you complain about your little 4 patients, when I'm sitting here with all the heavy load. You understand what I'm saying? So you better get it together. And let me tell you, I was so proud of myself. It was times I got a chance to face my bullies, y'all. I got a chance to say, you would not. Period. You will not. Because let me tell y'all, they will try. The retaliation is real. It happens, y'all. And this is real time, real story time, y'all. And when the manager found out who I had on my assignment and how many patients I had, she definitely was like, oh, and so she made changes. So everywhere I go, I feel like God uses me to bring awareness, a light, or change. There's always a change, or awareness, a light, or something, y'all. Something. And so let me tell y'all, I got to defeat my bully right then and there. When I kept assessing my patient that had that low blood sugar, when I kept working, even though I knew that they was against me, I kept working. I kept charting like I'm supposed to. I kept doing what I was supposed to do. You feel what I'm saying? And then last travel assignment I was on, when I was at the #1 trauma center, y'all, I ran into one person that was pretty cool. Now, I knew early on it was going to be something, y'all, because sometimes you just know when you're working with certain nurses. You just know. You're like, okay. And this one was really just mad at the job, like always mad at the job, mad at the managers. She wanted me to hate her manager. I didn't even get to know the manager yet. It was just a temporary one there. She was just wanting me to hate them and just like, really didn't want to. And I remember one nurse telling her to shut up, like when she was trying to show me things and whatever with my one day of training. You know what I mean? She's going over like, I don't like that. And so The same one, y'all. The same one. I remember one night she asked me to help her. Now I'm a helpful nurse when I'm on shift. She asked me, she wanted to eat, and she said she haven't had a chance, and she wanted me to give her pain med for her patient. So I'm like, sure, no problem, I can do that. So I went in, did a proper pain assessment. Patient had to go to the bathroom. She's like, oh God, good. About time somebody come in here and help me and da da. I didn't know what that was all about. But I went in there and helped her with a bunch of stuff, okay? Because when I'm in your patient's room and I'm covering you, I'm going to help you and not just give a Tylenol and keep it moving, you know? So I'm taking her to the bathroom. I'm making sure she's good, blah, 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 blah. I leave the room, and I happen to hear her voice. Now, this nurse lied, act like she was going to eat. Never left to go to eat. Never left the nurse's station. Was literally sitting there laughing with her friends. And honey, when I tell you that was a trigger for me, the old person I had to repent, honey. And I looked at her in front of her friends and I said, you would not be helped ever by me again. Ever, period. I don't care if we work in the same hallway, period. And I remember, y'all, it's so funny because we had to work in the same hallway, y'all, on the same side, guys. And let me tell you, all her freaking call bells were going off at the same time, like Christmas lights. And guess what? I just sat right there at my computer, period. And she dead looked at me like, oh, she really not going to help me? Now, because she felt like she'd been there the longest, she felt like she could do what she wanted to do. But I think she forgot who I was or didn't know who I was. So she started to realize, oh, I just messed up. Because every nurse that worked at you didn't know that I would either help you sign your drips. If we ran a lot of TPN, right? A lot of stuff. We had a lot of PCAs running, right? So I'm signing off all the LPN stuff. I'm getting everything done. I'm helping the new grads, right? With new chest tubes and stuff coming. Like, I'm a team player. But don't try it. And so let me tell y'all. So with this one, I had to do a little different. So she, of course, had friends in the hospital. She thought she was trying to get on me. And I noticed I started to float a lot, which I did not mind. Because the next time I started to float a lot, y'all, all these extra contracts started to come out of nowhere. And she didn't realize that that's what happens. And I always tell nurses, you think you're pushing a travel nurse off a unit when you're floating them. You're really helping them get another contract. Because as soon as they see your skills, they're going to want you. And that's what happened, y'all. Literally, this team, the next team that I floated to, would not let me leave until I saw their manager. One nurse came back, the day nurse came back and was like, girl, I saw everything that you did. You got. Now she was like, girl, you literally came behind me and slayed this assignment. Like she was like, thank you. My shift's going to be so much better. Like, you are amazing. Like, we want to work with you. Who do we need to talk to? My boss was want to get to know you. Do you mind just staying? I don't want you to leave. I want you to get this contract because I want you to work with us. And honey, when I tell you the contract was coming, because it was a huge hospital, y'all, bunch of units. And I'm just like, okay, no problem. Got to meet a bunch of new nurses, bunch of new teams, and I was loving it. And so even though people would try you, now let me tell you how I got her back. Let me tell you how I got her back, y'all. Let me tell you what I did. So now she didn't realize that I had got an extension. First of all, the hospital wanted to hire me too. On top of keeping me, I was the only traveler left with an extension and another contract. So you know what I did one night? I realized we were working. I realized I had to transfer a patient to her. And I didn't realize it was her at first till she personally called my Versera like, hey, it's me so-and-so. Hey, Thierry, I heard you was working tonight. And I'm like, is this the same? Period. Let me tell you what I did, y'all. Let me tell you what I did. I specifically remember there was some type of medication that was left with me, or she didn't get it from the day nurse. They forgot and she needed it because the patient was coming to her. And so I personally came up to the unit and it was like, hey, what's up? It was like, I got your medicine. How you been? Because I've been here and it's been fabulous for me. In a professional way, y'all. I knew she looked at me like, this Tierra, she's still here. Yep. Let me tell y'all. So one thing y'all got to do, y'all, is keep smiling, keep working, keep doing the standard. Don't drop your standard, because people are not practicing safe right now. People are skipping major steps and they're putting patients at risk, and patients are having bad outcomes. Do not be that nurse. Do not be that nurse, because everybody in your unit do not know how to do a proper assessment or not train in certain areas. Once you make your unit better by bringing it up to your coworkers, hey, let's all get our certification in this. Hey, let's all join the committee and we can fight for this. Let's all do this for our unit. So we have travelers coming on our unit. They're comfortable. You know what I'm saying? When we want to have time off, because there was times I definitely would switch days with nurses that couldn't get off so they can have days off that they normally don't get. I mean, I would help you with your assignment. I'll help you code your patient, but I ain't helping you if you, honey. So this is actually my story time to things that I actually been through as a nurse on the units. and I got to defeat the bully, the enemy. I still slayed the assignment. And while these nurses still sitting there charting for another 5 hours, I'm gone and come back the next day. And they looking at me like, how is she got so fast? And she just could slay anything, honey. And it's because when the enemy tries you, push you off and push you and make you feel like nothing, like all that studying and all those years of training and practicing was worth nothing. It is worth a lot to God's eyes. When you give your life to Christ, guys, you. So that's how you defeat your bully in a professional way. You understand what I'm saying? So there's ways to stay professional and still get your message out without cursing somebody out, without taking them to the streets, without going after people's vehicles and like going crazy over somebody, going to jail for somebody because they're in competition with you. You don't even know it. People be competing with me over the years. I didn't even know. Like, hey, I'm like, what? Like, I wasn't even in competition with you. But I guess you was in competition with yourself. But in your mind, you're in competition with me. Some people are in competition with you, you don't even know it. And it's like, my thing is this. If we was to come together and teach each other things that we're really, really good at, and we pour into each other, we will all be amazing. The problem is sometimes we have little things in us from being a little girl, right? Being a little self-conscious, have a little insecurities, and that those old feelings come up. That's why you have to heal from your past. You have to heal before you go into nursing and try to save lives. You have to heal from things. You have to heal those wounds. You have to work on yourself. Self-develop, love on yourself. So when things are happening, maybe you're not so strong in certain areas of nursing, you can reach out to other nurses and say, hey, you mind being my mentor? You mind show me how to do? I haven't done an NG tube in a while. I haven't done this type of tube in a while. I haven't did this in a while. Can you show me? Can I work under you? Can you help me tonight? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm scared my patient gonna die. Whatever it is, you got some nurses that are really strong in certain areas, and the problem is we have that ego of I know and nobody can beat me. I'm the best nurse in the world. Nobody's the best, honey. We're all striving to be the best, but that doesn't make all of us the best because it only could be one, right? It only could be one of your mind, but all of us are good. All of us are the best in our minds. All of us are the ones that made it in our family. We're the ones that's trying to prove a point. But when you start to try to prove a point, and that is your motivation, you're going to burn out in nursing because it shouldn't be about proving a point. It should be about saving a life. It should be about loving on your patients and your patients' families, right? Trying to understand people when they're going through their worst, right? When they're losing their spouse. I've had spouses that lost their husbands right in front of me, right? And I had that patient and they coded the night before, people are always going to ask travel nurses about their experience and how things are on their units because they know travel nurses are going to be honest. And then they handle things differently. And that's why they have travel nurses come, because the nurses are not up to par. Some of these nurses don't even know how to do simple tasks. And you're like, well, how did you graduate? What's going on in this hospital? It's because the hospital's like, I'm not pouring into those nurses. They coming in with attitudes. They don't know how to act, right? They don't know how to act when they don't get their way. But you have to make your own path. You create your own opportunities, right? I remember, like I told you, I used to pay for my own training outside of hospitals and have people reimburse me back, or use my own money to get certifications and use my own resource to get what I want. When somebody tell me no, I don't like no. I'm going to go after the no. I don't like no. I would say I'm turning my no to a yes on my own, y'all, on my own. And part of me also is staying humble, because at any time, guys, you could be the patient on that bed. Do you want yourself coming in that room and taking care of you? Because if not, then you not. So you might want to get yourself together. If you do not want to be that your own self as that nurse, if you was ever sick, would you want to be the one to come care for you, right? Ask yourself that. If you was sick or your family members got sick, would you want to be their nurse, right? Because some of us definitely conform to the mess. We conform because we're like, I got to work with these people. I just might as well do everything that everybody else doing. Who cares? You don't want to be that person. You want to be the oddball to say, I care. I still care. What? Even if I don't have the support, God is going to give me what I need to do what I need to do. So it is what it is. And like for me, guys, I'm not the type of travel nurse that sticks to one certain hospital. I worked several types of hospitals. I work nonprofit, for-profit, religious hospitals, all types of hospitals, because it's a calling. It's not something that, I have to be specifically in a certain area of nursing. No, everybody needs me. And that's why I stay working. But some of us got that pride and that attitude of, I'm not doing med service. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And you're lowering your income while I'm working. So it's like, and there's no staff. So why do you think you see travelers? Because in the hospitals, you have to have nursing in nursing homes. No matter where you're at, you have to have nursing 24 hours. Even when you have a home assistant living business, you still have to, y'all, have a nurse 24/7. Certain businesses, you still have to have a nurse 24/7. So you need to make sure that you are show up for these patients. You show up on the unit. You go against the bullying. You say, I'll be different, even if you treat me different. Okay, I'm still gonna go in. Just like Jesus, guys. His had a whole mission, right? He knew he had a whole thing that he had to do while Jesus was still on the earth, right? He still knew what he had to do, and they was coming up against it, coming up against it. He still stayed focused and got everything done that he needed to get done. He stayed focused. So you got to stay focused. That is how you defeat the enemy. You don't let the intimidation, you don't let what somebody's telling you they're going to do to you intimidate you. You keep your head up, queens and kings out there. You keep your head up in healthcare because there's somebody that needs you. There's a patient that will never forget you. There's families that adopted me that I swear if I knock on their door now, they'll invite me in for dinner because they will never forget me, ever. We bonded for life. You know, I met my spouses that lost their husbands right in front of me. That I was there. They held on to me. I was there for them. They had nobody. I took care of patients that died that had nobody. You know, that they had never had a visitor, but I was their family. I showed up like I was family for them. You know, we take care of these people because it's a calling. You're not coming in here to glamorize just because you want to go on trips. You want to buy all these fancy wigs and purses, and that's why God is not blessing your career, because your mindset, your heart is not in the right place. You're after the wrong thing. Your motives is wrong. So change how you are, and you might see change. You might see change. And give your life over to Christ, y'all. It is never too late. If you already saved, you got saved years ago, and you fell off, you can always get back on that wagon. You can always rededicate your life and say, God, you know what, today I'm going to rededicate my life because I was a hot mess. I ain't have it together. It's okay. Be honest with you in your career. And y'all, happy holidays.